Hey guys, I just wanted to make a short video about the differences between the TR6060 that comes in a Cadillac CTS-V and the one that comes in a Camaro SS, just as it applies to doing a swap. There are some differences, um, provided that your uh, Camaro transmission is not a 2010, it would seem that the gear ratios are pretty much the same. You get a little more overdrive with the Cadillac, but the 2010 uh, Camaro, the gearing is a little lower, a little more wheel torque in those lower gears. But my guess is that they're, ostensibly the same. The big thing when it comes to swapping this into, an older car, pickup truck, whatever, is really that this is the Camaro transmission here, and as you see, the shifter linkage, it comes out of here. In here, there's a shaft that connects to a ball. I'll show you that in a second, and then there's a piece here where the shifter connects, and it kind of it pivots off these points. The Cadillac, though, it has the shaft coming straight out of the end here, and it also has the same similar sort of piece here. This tail shaft is slightly longer, and so the shifter sits further back. You can kind of see how it's a little stubbier on the Camaro. So the issue that you may have, because if you're swapping this into a pickup truck, like a C10, you want the shifter to be right here. And on the Camaro, that's perfect because companies like Core Shifter, and I'm sure other people, they make a shifter that will mount right here, have that same shaft with the ball that goes down into the cup, and you're all set. With the Cadillac, though, if you take this cover off, you'll find out pretty quickly that that is not possible here. Let me get these loose without dropping them, because you see there's no socket for the ball. You have a continuous shaft that runs all the way through the transmission and out the back. I actually have the part right here that you'll find in the Camaro transmission. This is what it looks like. This is what you need. There's the socket that I'm talking about that the ball goes down into. And so the issue here is, you might think, well, I have the Cadillac transmission, I need to make it work. I'll just replace this shifter shaft, get this piece here, which is about $60, spend under $200, and I'll be all set. The issue is that this tail housing is different. The way that reverse is operated in the Cadillac transmission is different. I believe that also operates fifth and sixth gear as well. Don't quote me on that. But this shaft here, it looks different on the end, and so it's different than on the end and the one that's in the Camaro. So you would literally have to replace the whole tail housing to make that work, and at that point, just buy the right transmission. So the other thing is, you would think that you could maybe cut this and slip this in there. As you can see, the diameter of this hole, you should be able to see, the diameter of this hole here going back to the tail shaft is smaller than the one that's going to the front of the transmission. So you would have to take this shaft out and turn it down. And then that might not be that challenging, but before you put it back in, you have to drill the holes in this hardened shaft for the roll pins. If you don't get this angle right, and this is clocked, one way or the other, your transmission is not going to shift right, and you're going to have ostensibly ruined it. So the likelihood of you doing this first try, even if you have the proper equipment, is probably pretty low. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it just doesn't seem worth it. It seems like if you have the Cadillac transmission and you need the shifter to be here, then just buy the right transmission, which would be the Camaro transmission. Now, if you need the shifter here, then in, like, I believe a 240SX, a Challenger, definitely like an old Cuda, this is the best. The Cadillac is the way to go. I believe the new Challenger 6060s are also set up like this, but I'm not 100% sure, because I have seen people where they'll have the Camaro transmission modified so the shaft comes out of here. This is plugged on the Camaro, and obviously that's where the shaft comes out on the Cadillac. And so you spend big money to have a transmission guy come and do that, so you could ostensibly have what you already have in the Cadillac. So either way, it doesn't make sense financially to keep the wrong transmission. You'd be better off buying the transmission you need for the application you have. Now, Siki, they make an external linkage for the Camaro, or the Tr6060 set up this way, which could be other things besides the Camaro, I'm not sure, but it's essentially, externally it brings the linkage this way and puts your shifter here. It looks really nice. It looks like a good product. I've never seen it in person. So you will, and they have different lengths too, and it's not very expensive. Now, if you have the Cadillac, no one that I know makes an external linkage that will take it from here back to there. Making it yourself wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world, but you have to consider shifter feel and everything else. So it seems to me that the best advice would be, if you need your shifter to be here, buy a Camaro transmission. If you need it to be there, get the Cadillac style. If you have the one that you don't need, sell that one and buy the one that you do. And if you have some extra money, just get a Magnum, because that's really the way to go. Anyway, so the only reason really to get a takeoff transmission is just to save some money. If you're looking to spend a couple $1,000s to have one or the other modified to be like one or the other, buy the Magnum. It's already set up basically however you want. Now, as far as gear ratio goes, the 2010 Camaro, you probably have a little more wheel torque with that transmission just by looking at the numbers. 2011 Forward, it's the same as the Cadillac, except the Cadillac, you have a little bit more overdrive. Are you going to notice that? Is it going to make any difference? I'm not sure. You can look at the numbers yourself, but really the purpose of this video is just to show you why, why it'll be a challenge to turn this transmission into this transmission. So that's it. Hope that was helpful. I'll see you later.